How did one cruel, better-in-bed joke turn into a stranger handing me temporary court orders in a courthouse lobby, in front of people who knew us? Why was my husband standing across the hall with a calm face, and a woman with an engagement ring on her hand? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. My name is Lavinia Whateley. I was 33 then, and I worked in billing at a dental office. I liked neat numbers, clean screens, and quick wins. I also liked being seen. I told myself that wanting attention was normal. I said I gave my husband truth, not drama. That is what I said out loud, at least. Ethan was my husband. He was 35. He worked in IT for a logistics company. He liked schedules and quiet mornings. He liked fixing small problems before they grew. I used to say that made him stable. Later, I said it made him weak. I said it in jokes at first, like it was cute. Then it became a habit. That Friday night, we went to a rooftop bar downtown. We met my best friend, Marissa, and her boyfriend, Trent. Marissa picked the place because it looked good in photos. She said the lights made everyone look expensive. I wore a fitted black dress and heels I could barely walk in. I wanted heads to turn. Ethan told me I looked nice. I acted like his praise was not enough, even though I loved it. I arrived late on purpose. I told myself I was busy, but I also liked the feeling of making people wait. Ethan asked where I was. I said traffic was bad and my phone died. My phone did not die. It was in my purse the whole time. I watched his face while I lied. I told myself he needed to learn that I had a life. When I reached the table, Marissa waved her phone at me. She said she already posted a story and asked why I was not there for the first shot. I laughed and said I had a real job. Ethan smiled politely. Trent asked if I wanted a drink. I said yes, and I ordered something sweet because it looked pretty. At first, it was normal. We talked about work. Marissa complained about her manager. Trent complained about rent. Ethan tried to join, but the conversation moved fast, and he was not good at jumping in. He waited for turns like it mattered. Marissa joked that Ethan always sounded like he was giving a report. She said he should loosen up. I should have stopped it. I did not. I liked the way Marissa looked at me when she teased him, like we were a team. I said Ethan was serious and organized like an old man. Everyone laughed. Ethan laughed too, but it was thin. I noticed it. I also ignored it. The waiter brought food. The music got louder. The air felt warm from bodies and heaters. A group near us celebrated a birthday. People cheered when a cake came out. Marissa lifted her glass and said we should do a toast too. She said it was a toast to real love and real fun. She looked at Ethan when she said fun, like he was the example of no fun. Ethan asked what she meant. Marissa said she was only joking. I added that Ethan was safe and stable, like a family car. I said he was not a sports car. I said it like it was clever. Trent laughed hard. Marissa laughed harder. Ethan stared at his plate for a moment and then looked at me. He asked me, in a quiet voice, why I always compared him. I said I was not comparing. I said he imagined it. I said he should relax and stop making everything heavy. That was the first time that night I felt power in my chest, like a warm push. I liked it. Marissa leaned in and asked, like she was curious, if Ethan was at least good in bed. She said it with a grin. Trent made a face like he did not want to hear it, but he did. I could have shut it down. I could have said it was private. Instead, I smiled. I let the question sit there like bait. Ethan asked Marissa to stop. He said it was disrespectful. Marissa rolled her eyes and said he was acting like a teacher. I said he was always trying to control the mood. I said that when Ethan got strict, it made me feel trapped. I said it like I was the victim. Then I said the line that changed everything. I said my ex, Logan, was better in bed than Ethan. I said it like it was a fact, not a knife. I also said Ethan could learn if he tried. I said it was feedback. I watched Marissa's face light up. I watched Trent's eyebrows go up. I watched Ethan's face go still. Ethan asked me why I would say that in public. I said he forced me to be honest because he never listened at home. I said he always wanted praise for doing basic things. I said he needed to hear what a real man was like. I said it was not my fault if he could not handle it. Ethan did not shout. He did not slam the table. He did not curse. He just sat there and breathed, slow and careful. That calm made me angry. I wanted a reaction. I wanted him to look like the problem. I wanted him to prove my story. He asked if we could go home. I said he was trying to ruin the night. Marissa said Ethan was being dramatic. She said we came out to have fun, and he was killing the vibe. I nodded like a judge. I said Ethan always did this. I said he punished me with his mood. Ethan looked at Marissa and then back at me. He asked me to stop talking about our marriage like it was a show. I said he should stop acting like a victim. I said I was the one who carried the relationship. I said respect followed results, and I had results. Ethan's mouth pressed into a line. He stayed quiet. Trent tried to change the topic. He asked Ethan about work. Ethan answered politely. He said they were migrating systems and it was stressful. He kept his voice even. Marissa kept smiling, but her smile started to look nervous. I could tell she expected Ethan to snap. He did not. When the bill came, Ethan paid without asking me. He always did that. I used to call it generous. That night, I called it controlling in my head. He stood up and said we should leave. I wanted to refuse. I wanted to keep the table. But people nearby had started looking at us. The birthday group got quiet for a second. I hated the feeling of being watched in the wrong way. On the elevator down, Ethan asked me why I hated him. I said I did not hate him. I said he made things up again. I said he was insecure and it was tiring. He asked why I brought up Logan's name. I said Logan was part of my past, and I could mention my past. I said Ethan should not fear a memory. In the parking garage, Ethan opened my car door like normal. I sat down and crossed my legs like a queen. He drove with both hands on the wheel. He did not play music. The silence felt thick. It also felt like he was trying to punish me with it. I told myself that was abuse, even though he said nothing. At home, Ethan asked if I wanted to talk calmly. I said there was nothing to talk about. I said he should work on himself. I said I was not his teacher. He asked if I understood what I did at the bar. I said everyone had fun until he got sensitive. I said he embarrassed me by acting hurt. I said he was the one who made it public. I went to the bedroom and closed the door. I took off my shoes and checked my phone. I had messages from Marissa with laughing emojis. She said I was iconic. I smiled. I told myself I won. Then, from the hallway, I heard a soft click, like a drawer locking, and the sound was calm in a way that made my stomach feel strange. Monday felt like a clean reset, and I needed that. I put on a bright blouse and a soft perfume. I told myself I was not the kind of woman who got stuck in a sad marriage. I said I was brave. I said I was honest. I repeated those lines in my head while I drove to the dental office. Ethan texted me in the morning. He asked if we could talk after work, like adults. I stared at the message and waited. I let 2 hours pass before I answered. Then I wrote that he was not safe to talk to when he got emotional. I knew that would sting. I also knew it sounded reasonable if anyone saw it. I told myself I was setting a boundary. It was easier than admitting I was dodging him. At the office, the phones rang non-stop. Patients called about insurance codes and payment plans. I liked being needed. My coworker Jenna asked why I looked so awake for a Monday. I said I had a long weekend. She asked if Ethan took me somewhere nice. I laughed and said Ethan was not that type. I said he was more like a checklist than a man. Jenna made a face and said that sounded sad. I said it was fine because stable was better than hot. I made it sound like I chose it on purpose. Then I did what I always did when I felt cornered. I built a story fast. At the front desk, I told Marissa's name like it was proof that people agreed with me. I said my friends had noticed Ethan's issues for years. I said he shut down and punished me with silence. I did not mention that I started it at the bar. I said he got weird about my past. I said he was insecure and jealous. I did not say that I had used Logan's name like a weapon. I watched Jenna nod. I watched another coworker, Tasha, lean closer. Tasha asked what I meant by punished. I paused for a second, like I was choosing my words carefully. Then I said Ethan withheld affection to control me. I said it like it was a fact, not my interpretation. I let that hang in the air. I knew it was a strong claim. I also knew it would spread. Jenna asked if Ethan ever yelled. I said he did not have to yell to be scary. I said he got quiet and cold, and that was worse. It was a smart answer because it sounded serious without needing details. I felt proud of myself for that. I told myself I was protecting myself. Around late morning, Miles Hart showed up with a rolling case of dental supplies. He was the sales rep we saw every few weeks. He had an easy smile, like he was always in a good mood. He asked how things were going. I said work was fine, but home was stressful. He asked what happened. I sighed like a tired hero and said my husband was being cruel. Miles asked what my husband did. I said Ethan kept judging me and trying to control me. I said he twisted my words and made me feel crazy. Miles frowned and said that sounded toxic. He said I deserved peace. He said I seemed like someone who carried everything on her back. I liked how that sounded. I did not correct him. I walked Miles to the supply area because the office manager was busy. The supply closet was narrow with boxes stacked high. Miles handed me a clipboard. He asked me to sign for the delivery. While I wrote my name, he said he hated men who made women doubt themselves. I said Ethan was not a bad man, just weak. I said he could not satisfy me the way I needed. I said it quietly, but I said it. Miles's eyes stayed on my face like he was listening to something important. Miles asked if I had anyone I could talk to. I said I had my sister and my friends. He asked if I had anyone who really saw me. I laughed and said maybe not. He said I should not settle for a life where I felt unseen. I told myself he was only being kind. I also felt a small thrill. It felt like oxygen. At lunch, I crossed the street to a small cafe. Jenna came with me, and Tasha followed too. We sat by the window. I ordered a salad and iced coffee. I said I was trying to take control of my health. Jenna said Ethan should support that. I said Ethan did not support anything unless it benefited him. I made him sound selfish. I made myself sound trapped. Jenna asked if I thought of leaving. I said I could not because of Piper, our daughter. I said I stayed for the child. That sounded noble. It also hid the real truth. I stayed because I liked the comfort Ethan provided. I liked the shared bills, the steady life, the clean routine. I wanted freedom and stability at the same time, and I believed I deserved both. Back at my desk, my phone buzzed again. Ethan asked if I could pick up Piper after work because he had a meeting. I almost wrote that he should do it himself. Then I stopped and said yes. I did not want to look uncooperative. I wanted to look like the parent who always shows up. Later, while I was entering insurance adjustments, a message popped up from Logan Pierce. He wrote that he saw a photo from the rooftop bar and laughed. He said I still had a sharp mouth. He added a flame emoji. My chest tightened in a way I told myself was just nostalgia. I did not answer right away, but I did not delete it either. I let it sit there like a secret prize. That evening, I got home before Ethan. I put Piper's backpack by the stairs and started dinner. When Ethan walked in, he looked tired. He asked how my day was. I said it was fine. He asked if we could talk about Friday. I said there was nothing to talk about because he made it bigger than it was. Ethan asked if I was seeing someone. His voice was calm, but his eyes looked careful. like he was trying not to step on glass. I laughed and said he was paranoid. I said he always tried to accuse me when he felt small. Ethan asked why my phone was always face down. I said that was normal, and he was overthinking. He asked if I would stop telling people private things about him. I said I would stop when he stopped acting like the victim. He asked if I meant what I said about Logan. I said he should not be focused on old history. I said a confident man would not care. While I washed dishes, I noticed the printer tray had a sheet of paper in it. It was blank, but it smelled like fresh toner. I asked Ethan why he printed a blank page. He said the printer jammed earlier and he cleared it. I looked at him longer than I meant to. He looked back without flinching. Later, when Piper was asleep and the house was quiet, Ethan walked past me toward the hallway. I heard that same soft click again, like a drawer locking. I told myself it was nothing. Still, I checked my phone and saw Logan's message waiting, bright on the screen, like a door I could open whenever I wanted. Saturday came too fast. Ethan's dad had a birthday dinner, and the whole family was going. I told myself it was perfect timing. A crowd made things safer for me. In a crowd, I could steer the story. I could make Ethan look like the difficult one without even raising my voice. In the morning, Ethan moved around the house like he was following a plan. He made pancakes for Piper and cut the strawberries in neat slices. He asked Piper what shirt she wanted to wear. Piper chose the one with a small rainbow. Ethan nodded like her choice mattered. I watched it and felt irritated for no clear reason. It was like he was acting calm on purpose to make me look bad later. I tried to start a fight before we left. I asked why he was being so quiet all week. He said he was tired and wanted peace. I said peace was a lazy excuse. He asked me to please not turn his dad's birthday into a problem. I said I was not the one who made problems. I said he did, with his moods. In the car, Ethan asked if we could agree on one thing. He said we should be respectful in front of family. I answered that I was always respectful, and he just hated how I spoke. He asked if I would stop bringing up Logan. I said he should stop acting threatened by a memory. Ethan kept both hands on the wheel and did not reply. The restaurant was busy. It was one of those family places with long tables and loud lights. The hostess led us to the back where a long table was set for 10 people. Ethan's mother, Ruth, was already there, sitting straight with her purse on her lap. Ethan's father, Gordon, stood to greet us. He hugged Piper first. He smiled at me second. I noticed the order and told myself it was rude. My sister Danny showed up a few minutes later because I invited her. I wanted backup. Danny came in like she owned the room. She kissed my cheek and asked if Ethan was still being weird. I said he was sensitive lately. Danny laughed and said sensitive men were exhausting. Ruth heard that and went quiet. We sat down. Piper sat between Ethan and me. Ethan pulled her chair in and asked if she wanted water or juice. Piper said juice. Ethan waved the waiter over and ordered for her. I watched Piper lean toward him without thinking. That small movement made my chest tighten. The food came. People talked over each other. Danny told a story about her boss. Ruth asked Piper about school. Gordon asked Ethan about work. Ethan answered politely and kept it short. He did not give me a chance to jump in and twist his words. That annoyed me. Then Danny did what she always did. She asked a question that sounded like a joke, but was a trap. She asked Ethan if he learned how to relax yet. Ethan said he tried his best. Danny asked if he had read any books about confidence. I smiled and said Ethan liked manuals more than real life. Danny laughed. A cousin laughed too. The laughter rolled down the table like a wave. Ethan looked at me and asked, quietly, if we could stop. I said we were only joking. I said he should not embarrass me by acting hurt. Ruth looked at Ethan's face and then at mine. She did not smile. I pushed again because I wanted the room. I said some men were strong in public but weak in private. I did not name Ethan, but everyone knew. Danny asked what I meant. I said I meant a woman should not have to teach a man everything. Someone asked, half laughing, if I was talking about the bedroom. I felt the table lean in. That attention felt like heat on my skin. Ethan asked me not to talk about that here. I answered that he always tried to silence me. I said a confident man would laugh. I said if he wanted respect, he should earn it. I told myself I was giving tough love. I was really doing it because I liked watching him shrink. Piper looked up at me and asked why Dad looked sad. Her voice was small, but it cut through the noise. I smiled too quickly and said, Dad was just tired. Ethan asked Piper if she wanted to go see the fish tank near the front. Piper nodded. Ethan stood and took her hand. He did it calmly, like he was moving a piece on a board. While they were gone, Ruth leaned toward me. She asked why I spoke about her son like he was a joke. I said I was just being honest. Ruth said honesty did not need an audience. I told her she was biased because she babied Ethan. Gordon cleared his throat and looked down at his plate. Ethan returned with Piper. He sat back down and placed Piper's napkin on her lap. He did not look at me. He asked Gordon about a new project at the house. Gordon answered and seemed grateful for the safe topic. The table cooled off, but I felt like I had lost my grip. I wanted it back. Ethan's phone buzzed once. He glanced at it and turned it face down. I caught a glimpse of a missed call with no caller ID. He excused himself and said he needed to take a quick call. He walked away without rushing. Danny whispered that he was being dramatic again. I nodded like she was right, even though I did not know what the call was. When Ethan came back, he was even quieter. He ate slowly. He smiled at Piper when she showed him her drawing on a kid's menu. He did not try to fix things with me. That felt like an insult. On the drive home, I said he was cold. He asked why I needed to win every room. I said I did not need to win. I said he just hated being exposed. Ethan did not argue. He parked the car, helped Piper inside, and started the bedtime routine like a machine. Later, when I walked past his office, his laptop was open for 1 second. I saw a clean file tree. 2 folders sat near the top, labeled Archive A and Archive B. Then the screen went dark, like he had touched the mouse and closed it without panic. I told myself it was work. Still, I stood there longer than I meant to, listening to the quiet hum of the house and wondering why it suddenly felt like I was the one being watched. By the next week, the house felt split down the middle. Ethan still did the same chores, but he did them like a roommate, not a husband. In the mornings, he packed Piper's lunch and left my coffee cup untouched. He stopped asking about my day. He stopped trying to fix my mood. I told myself he was being cold on purpose. I said he wanted to punish me. I also said I would not let him. So I made my own story louder. At school pickup on Tuesday, the line of cars crawled forward like always. Parents leaned out windows and waved. I saw a mom I knew, Valerie, standing near the sidewalk with her phone in her hand. She smiled like she had a secret. When I rolled down my window, she asked if I was doing okay. She said she saw my post about withholding, and she felt for me. She said it took courage to speak up. My stomach warmed with relief. The story was working. I told her I was fine, just tired. I said Ethan was going through a phase where he liked control. I said he acted calm, but made me feel small. Valerie nodded and said some men hid their anger behind silence. I did not correct her. I let her build the monster for me. Piper climbed into the back seat and buckled herself. She asked why Dad did not come today. I said Dad had meetings because he cared more about work than family. Piper asked if Dad was mad at me. I said Dad got mad easily, and he did not know how to talk nicely. I heard my own voice and still did not stop. At home, Ethan was in the kitchen. 2 mugs sat on opposite counters, like a line between us. He asked how pickup went. I said fine. He asked if Piper had homework. I said yes. He said he would help after dinner. His tone was steady, like he was reading from a script. After Piper went to her room, Ethan asked if we could talk about routines. He said he wanted mornings to be calm for Piper. He said we should agree on who did pickup on which days. I told him he was treating me like an employee. He said he wanted predictability, not control. I said predictability was just control with a nicer name. He asked me to stop posting about him online. He said it was not fair and it hurt Piper later. I said I had a right to share my life. I said he did not get to silence me. He said he was not silencing me. He was asking for privacy. I laughed and said privacy was the word men used when they got caught. That night, I noticed Ethan's phone alarm went off. The label flashed for a second, something simple like meeting personal. He tapped it off without looking at me. I watched his face, waiting for a crack. There was none. The calm made me feel like I was losing. 2 days later, I ran into Miles near the gym lobby. I told myself it was coincidence, but I had chosen that time because I knew he was usually there. The lobby smelled like rubber mats and citrus cleaner. Miles asked how I was holding up. I said my husband was still acting cold and weird. Miles said I should not accept that kind of treatment. He said a woman should feel wanted. He offered to grab a smoothie with me. I said I could not stay long because I had errands. He asked if Ethan knew where I was. I said Ethan did not need to know everything. Miles smiled like that answer impressed him. I felt seen again, and I hated myself just enough to push that feeling away with excuses. Later, when Ethan asked how my errands went, I said the gym was crowded and I left fast. He asked why I smelled like a different cologne. I said he imagined it. I said he was spiraling again. I said his jealousy was turning him into someone ugly. He stared at me for a long moment and then looked away. That weekend, Piper asked why Dad slept in the guest room. She asked it while brushing her teeth, foam on her lips, eyes wide and honest. Ethan was in the hallway and heard her. He told Piper he wanted better sleep so he could be a better dad. He said grown-ups sometimes needed space to think. Piper asked if space meant we were breaking up. Ethan said we were still a family and she was loved. Then Piper looked at me, waiting for my version. I said Dad was being dramatic and needed time to calm down. I said he got upset over small things. Ethan did not correct me in front of her. He just said bedtime was now, and he read Piper a story in the guest room with the door half open. After Piper fell asleep, Ethan came to the kitchen and started wiping the counters. He asked me again to stop talking about him to people. He said it was turning our home into a public stage. I said if he did not want a stage, he should not act like a villain. He asked what villain thing he did this week. I did not have a clear answer, so I said his silence was emotional abuse. I said it fast, like the speed made it true. He put the sponge down and breathed out slowly. He asked me to please think about Piper. He said she needed calm parents. I said he was using Piper to control me. He said he was not controlling me. He was trying to protect her routine. I said routine was just another word for boredom. Then I saw the small signs again. A sticky note on the counter said, "Bring forms." A new key hung on his ring, shiny and unfamiliar. The guest bed looked slightly disturbed each morning, like he slept there on purpose, not by accident. One night I heard the shredder hum for a few seconds from his office. When I asked what he was shredding, he said old bills and junk mail. He left his laptop open once when he went to the bathroom. I did not touch it, but I saw a browser tab that said something like notary near me, and another that looked like delivery tracking. I told myself it was for work. I also told myself not to panic. The next morning, while Ethan made Piper's lunch, I noticed a small notification on his screen. It was a CloudSync message. It said, "File uploaded successfully." Ethan clicked it away like it meant nothing. He did not look at me. He did not explain. I stood there with my coffee, feeling a tightness in my throat that I refused to name. I told myself he was planning to scare me. I told myself he would not dare. Still, I watched him move through the kitchen with steady hands, and for the first time, I wondered if my loud story outside the house had already stopped mattering inside it. The next week, I stopped pretending we were working on things. I started acting like Ethan's calm was an attack. I told myself he was trying to freeze me out so I would beg. I promised myself I would not beg. On Thursday, I went downtown for a quick errand after work. I chose an office tower because the lobby had cafes and people. I liked places with glass walls and security desks. It made me feel important, like my life was serious and everyone should watch. When I walked in, I saw Ethan near the elevators. He was not alone. He stood with a woman about my age, maybe a little younger. Her hair was neat. Her clothes looked simple but expensive. She held a coffee cup with both hands like she was calm. Ethan's posture was straight, not tense. He looked like he was at work, not like he was sneaking. My brain did the thing it always did. It filled in the worst story and then treated it like proof. I walked closer, slow, like I owned the space. Ethan noticed me and did not flinch. The woman looked at me and then looked away, like she did not want conflict. Ethan asked what I was doing there. I said I could ask him the same thing. He said it was a normal meeting. I said it did not look normal. He asked me not to start a scene. I said he was the one making scenes by acting single in public. I wanted him to snap. I wanted him to raise his voice so the lobby would judge him. He did not. He introduced the woman in a simple way. He said her name was Naomi Park, and she worked in his department. He said they were discussing a project timeline. Naomi nodded and said hello, polite and flat. I wanted her to look guilty. She did not. I told Ethan he had no right to act innocent. He asked what I meant. I said he knew what I meant. I said he was emotionally abandoning me, and now he was replacing me. Ethan said he was not replacing anyone and he would not argue here. I said he was scared of being exposed. Naomi stepped back toward the cafe line. She did not smirk. She did not roll her eyes. That made me hate her more. I wanted a villain I could point at. As I walked out, my phone was already in my hand. I texted Marissa and Danny. I told them I caught Ethan with a woman in a lobby. I said it looked like a date. I said he was trying to make me look crazy. I did not mention I had walked in ready to fight. I made myself sound calm and brave. Marissa replied fast and told me to post something before he controlled the narrative. Danny told me I should call Ethan's mom and warn her. I felt a rush. It was like my anger had a team behind it. That evening, I went to the supermarket, partly because we needed food, and partly because I wanted a public place again. I wanted to keep pressure on Ethan. I wanted him to feel watched. He showed up there too, like the universe was mocking me. He stood in the produce aisle with Piper, letting her pick apples. Piper held one up to the light like it was a treasure. Ethan smiled at her in a soft way I had not seen in weeks. Piper ran to me and hugged my waist. Ethan stayed back, giving me space. He asked if I wanted to take Piper home, or if he should. I said he was acting nice because people were around. He asked me to please not do this here. I said I would do it anywhere I wanted because he deserved it. At the checkout, I pushed again. I said he was talking to women at work to punish me. He asked me to lower my voice. I said he was embarrassed because the truth sounded ugly. The cashier kept scanning items, eyes forward. 2 people behind us pretended not to listen, but they listened. Ethan asked if we could talk later at home, privately. I said privacy was his favorite hiding place. He asked me to stop making statements that could confuse Piper. I said Piper already knew he was cold. Ethan looked at Piper and then at me, like he was choosing words carefully. He said Piper needed 2 adults who acted like adults. When we got to the parking lot, he loaded the bags into his trunk without comment. He did not slam anything. He did not curse. He just moved like a person who had decided something inside himself. At home, the driveway lights clicked on. Ethan's car was parked facing the street, not tucked in like before. I noticed it and felt a small pinch of fear. It looked ready to leave at any time. Inside, Ethan went straight to the kitchen and started putting groceries away. He did not ask if I was okay. He did not ask what happened at my work. He did not chase my mood. I tried a different tactic. I acted wounded. I told him he made me feel unwanted. I said he forced me to look elsewhere for attention. I said any woman would crack under that kind of cold marriage. Ethan kept placing items in the fridge. He asked me to speak clearly and calmly. I said he was always trying to manage me, like I was a problem to solve. He asked if I'd been meeting Miles again. I said he was accusing me because he felt guilty about Naomi. Ethan asked what Naomi had to do with anything. I said he knew. He said Naomi was a coworker and nothing more. I said he was lying. I tried to scare him into softness. I said if he kept acting like this, I would tell people the full truth about him. I said I would show everyone how he treated me. I said I would make sure his family knew what kind of man he was behind closed doors. Ethan finally stopped moving. He leaned against the counter and looked at me like he was seeing me clearly for the first time. He asked if I understood what I was doing to our lives. I said I was protecting myself. He asked if I understood what I was doing to Piper. I said Piper would be fine if he stopped being difficult. He walked past me toward his office. I followed, not close enough to touch, but close enough to feel in control. His computer screen was on. A spreadsheet was open, plain rows and columns with numbers. I could not see a title. Next to the keyboard was a folder on the desk labeled Bank and another one labeled Household. There was also a tiny USB drive taped under a taxes folder, like it was meant to stay hidden. I acted like I did not notice any of it. I said he was being dramatic with his little systems. He did not respond to that. He turned to me and spoke in the same steady voice. He said he would not fight anymore. He said he would handle it properly. I went to the courthouse thinking I could still steer it with my voice. I told myself Ethan would never make it official. I told myself he wanted to scare me, not finish me. The lobby smelled like floor cleaner and old paper. People sat in rows with folders on their laps. A security guard watched everyone like a clock. Ethan was already there. He stood near a pillar, hands relaxed, face calm. Ruth stood a few steps behind him, not touching him, but close enough to signal sides. And next to Ethan was Naomi. She was not dressed like a coworker today. She wore a simple jacket and held a thin folder. Her left hand rested on the folder, and a ring caught the overhead light. My chest went hot. I walked up fast and asked what this was. Ethan said we were here to do it properly, like he told me. I said he was being dramatic and cruel. He asked me to lower my voice. I said he loved acting calm in public, so people would think I was the unstable one. A man in a plain suit stepped toward me. He asked if my name was Lavinia Whateley. I said yes. He confirmed my address out loud. I felt eyes turn toward me. He handed me a stack of papers and said I had been served. My fingers went stiff around the pages. I scanned words like divorce petition and temporary orders. I saw a schedule for Piper. I saw rules about communication, something about using written messages only and keeping it civil. I saw a line about not posting about each other online and not involving third parties. I saw an order about the home, who stayed, and what days I could enter. I saw a warning about consequences if I broke it. I laughed once, sharp and fake. I told Ethan he was doing this because I told the truth about him. I said he was punishing me for being honest. Ethan said he was protecting Piper and protecting himself. He said the court did not care about my jokes, it cared about my pattern. I looked at Naomi again and asked what she was doing here. Ethan said she was his fiancée now. Naomi did not gloat. She just stood steady. Then a clerk called my name and said the temporary orders were effective immediately.